What's up, guys? It's another episode of The Real LLC. I got some really good stuff today. Lake life and culture here in Lake County that we talk about. But something that I want to focus on today is women in construction. It's been all this month that we're talking about women in construction, and I've got some pretty powerful women here today. And this is part of the Eustace Roofing team right here in town. And I wanted to talk to them a little bit about what it's like to be a woman in construction. So first of all, we've got Christina over here. And then we've got Cheryl and Heather. So tell me a little bit, each one of you, about what you do at Eustace Roofing. What's different in construction than what you've worked before? So go ahead, Christina.
I work in the service department, so my job is to schedule all the repairs, the appointments for go out and leak investigation, and a lot of the small jobs. Difference between my background before working in construction was I ran a pet resort, so completely opposite ends of the spectrum, definitely. But this one is still in its enough set enough in its rewarding field, and I think we get a lot of respect from a lot of other people in the field, rather it
Yeah,
be.
I would say even the guys that work here at Eustace Roofing have so much respect for the girls. They keep us like dialed in. Like we couldn't do it without them. That's for sure. I think what's different in a customer versus in the pet world, where like are they more demanding? Do they need more? Like how would it be different?
Well, there is one huge similarity. Your pets, they love them. They are their pride and joy. Then you've got your homeowners. That's their pride and joy. So they want the same thing. They want a response. They want answers. They want great customer service. So when they call, they want to know what their appointment is. They want to know who's coming and who's taking care of their home. And that's kind of the same in the pet field. They want to know who's taking care of them. So
What's unique about you, Christina, is that you can pretty much tell everybody how a roof goes on, like to every detail, as if you were putting the roof on yourself. And I think that's one of the most unique things about Eustace Roofing. If a call comes in, you can pretty much answer all of the call and tell them what's going on, so that when we're in the field, we can do what we've got to do. And I think it's just a huge relief of pressure for us. Also, one of the unique things we were talking about this morning is you've seen us grow, right? Like we were on the other side of the street in a two-person office to now 12 to 15 people in a day could be working in the office. What's it like to see us grow, even with girls in the construction? Like we're adding more and more girls to the team. They're helping us stay structured, keeping everything flowing better. What's your opinion on that? What have you seen change?
I've seen you guys grow phenomenally at a very high rate. And yes, it started off with two women and three. And the beautiful thing about your company is that most of us come in with no experience whatsoever, but the desire to learn, and you give it to us. So I might be able to answer all those questions, but that's because nobody has ever not answered ours. So instead of some other places that might teach you one little thing and you just know how to respond, it's almost like a little questionnaire on the side. We go beyond it because we ask you guys the same questions. Well, what is that material and where does that go and how does that work? And the videos that you post, we have all educated ourselves on it because we feel like we're better informed with the customers. So the more we want to learn, the more you guys teach us. Nobody ever says no at Eustace Roofing, or it's none of our, you don't have to worry about that. We've got this. You guys take the time to actually answer our questions, show us the material and how it works and its purpose, so that any one of us can answer that question. That homeowner doesn't have to be, well, hold on a second, if I can get your estimator on the phone to call you back. They get the answer right away. And that's because of you guys.
Well, I think that's a really unique stance on that. I think Heather's really helped us with that, where if we're having a meeting, a lot of times we'll have, like today or some other days, we'll have a meeting with everybody involved, right? So that sometimes the project managers are in the same meeting with the office staff, and we might be talking about a dead valley or unique things on a roof, and it might only pertain to the project managers. But then in the end, what we realized is the office will pick up that information and understands more about what's going on also, and they can answer the homeowner's question. In Christina's thing, she can set up the repair. She knows what guy is best at that position. Like, I don't think people realize how important it is to have those full team meetings, because sometimes they think that it's a waste of time for people in that room because it doesn't, that area doesn't go to what they're doing. But in the end, they're learning so much. You never know how you can grow with that information. And that's a big thing that Heather's implemented. Heather, you come from the banking world, the real estate world. You've got a big background of different stuff that you've done. What's unique with women in construction to you? What do you see that's different?
I find that in the construction industry that we're learning everything from the beginning to the end. I came on board with no experience, just like Christina did as well. And coming from the financial industry for 20 years, money is very important to people. In roofing, it's no different because it's a huge investment. It's their life savings that they've been saving over time to protect their home. And so I think the opportunity is really unique in the roofing industry. Just because I came on board, I didn't know anything either. And I've learned a lot. There's a lot of questions, and everybody's so humble and willing to share the process and why we do it the way that we do it, and just learning just the installation of the materials in itself, and how the humidity and the heat, how Florida impacts it completely different than what it would be up in the northern areas of the states. But it's definitely different. I think it's a huge opportunity just to learn the entire business as a whole, just coming in from customer service and then dealing with the paperwork and getting all the logistics out of the way, just so we can make sure that by the time our roofers hit that, their boots on the roof there, that all the paperwork is taken care of. We're fully permitted, and we're ready to go, and they can have a good product on their roof.
Well, I think at the end of the day, construction hasn't always been the best for the customer experience, right? And so I think now that you're seeing in 2023, you're seeing a lot of women get into the industry, and they're changing that. They're helping change that, where there's a better experience. What is the difference, do you think, that we've seen over the last 10 years in customer experience? Is it something that's more focused on in construction than maybe what you saw before?
I think, I know when I was in the banking industry, customer service was really big. I mean, they can make you or break you. There's got to be customer satisfaction. And and Cheryl might be able to touch on this a little bit, because she has a background of roofing experience and construction herself. But what I've noticed, even though we may be small town roofing company, we're really not small town roofing company. I mean, we have, over 150 employees, and every single person cares about that quality at the end of the day. And I forgot what your question was. I forgot my point.
All right. So I'm going to move on. All right. Because then I'll come back to that.
Okay.
It happens. You go blank sometimes.
Yeah.
Thanks for throwing me under the bus.
No, I think I was really focused on the customer service and the customer service side of it. It doesn't stop with just a roofing company. And, from the moment that the first customer calls in to the phone lines, their customer satisfaction is very important to us. We want them to have a smooth transition until their roof is put on. And even after the roof is put on, which circles even back over to Christina's department, where there's going to be human error. We're all human. But at the end of the day, we want to make it right. And our customer service, it's important to us.
Yeah, I think Cheryl, you can speak a lot on this. So if you guys haven't met Cheryl, she is absolutely fantastic. We're super happy to have her as part of the team. She's usually that voice when you call in, the first voice that you hear. She's got a ton of experience in the construction industry, and she has a lot of experience in the roofing industry. So you've worked for other roofing companies. You've worked in construction. You started out of high school in construction. What is your take on Eustace Roofing, how they handle the roofing industry versus some of our competitors or places that you've worked before?
I really feel that at Eustace Roofing that the customers are overall very satisfied with us, and we take care of them and help answer any questions they have and handle any issues that they have right away. I think that's the big thing, is getting the issues handled quickly is definitely what holds us out. If there is any issues, we're more than happy to come out and get them taken care of quickly. So our overall customer satisfaction, I think, is handled prompt.
Well, since you work for other roofing companies, Do you feel like you've learned a lot here that maybe you didn't learn before, or that there's some unique things that we brought to the market, like by including you guys in some of these meetings or understanding roofing? Are you picking up on the same thing that they're saying?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely, we learn a lot when we're involved in the meetings and we get to see what other skills people have around the workplace so that we know who to use
Right.
throughout different projects.
So I think for me, like I'm always learning, right? Like I feel like, okay, I know roofing really well, but that doesn't mean I can type up a contract and send it out.
Right.
Right. So I think when you talk about customer service, that's where these guys come in is like, I might know exactly how I want to write this contract up, but I not know how to get it to the homeowner the correct way or document it so that we can go back and see what it is. Right. One of the great things about you guys is we might have worked for a customer 20 years ago. But because we had great people that kept us straight, we can look up those documents and see exactly what we did. How can we help this homeowner? And I think that people don't realize that that's super, super important. And so you guys are saying you learn a lot in the meetings, but at the end of the day, we're learning so much from you guys of what you need from us so that we can have that stuff to satisfy the homeowner at the end of the day.
And I think at the end of the day is, our goal is to have consistency. If we're consistent, it only betters us at the end of the day. So even though we're learning, we learn from our own mistakes, and then we'll put procedures in place to just make sure that we're consistent and we're able to move forward with it with the least amount of mistakes as possible.
Procedures, processes, and procedures. We hear that all the time at Eustace Roofing, and it's all about serving the customer better. But one of the biggest things too that we always forget about, and we really stand for at Eustace Roofing, and or this is what our goal is the actual employee itself. Like some of these guys that work for us are so talented that we bring in, and we want to show that these guys are incredible, right? One of the things about Eustace Roofing that people forget is what Christina does. It's the heartbeat of Eustace Roofing, which is the repair department. And I hate the word repair department because at the end of the day, it's like a specialty department. Like these guys are more just incredible at detail and they can solve the problems, but you can't grow as a company unless you can take care of your current customers. Like I know when we have a storm, Christina, the first thing that we always say is, let's go take care of the people we've already worked for first. Go take care of our customers, and then we'll start taking care of new customers first. How do you feel about that?
I think it's actually excellent that we do, because when the storms are starting to announce, the phones start ringing and everybody wants to go on this waiting list. Well, get me on the list. And I always tell the homeowners, there's no need for that because you are our client. No matter what, we're here for you. And it doesn't even mean a storm or anything else. You have an issue with your roof, even just to check it when nothing is wrong. They do get the front of that line. Personally, before, then not that the new customers aren't equally as important, but it is us checking on our own work and standing by it. So we want to make sure that our roof is still secure, or if you had an issue, that's our install. We want to be the ones on the roof, not somebody else coming and trying to figure out the problem. We want to be the first phone call. So I love that we are their first phone call, and they know that they have that protection behind them. They've got Eustace Roofing's name and the reputation that it goes with it and the honor that it comes with having that roof. They're going to stand out as opposed to anybody else. And I think that that's a wonderful service that we provide.
Well, the second thing on that too is not everybody gets their roof installed by Eustace. It sucks, right? There's a few out there. However, we don't hold anything against them when they have an issue with the roof, right? Sure, the call will come in that someone needs a repair. We do more repairs in Lake County, probably in the state of Florida, than any other roofing company. We have a huge repair team, but they're there for everybody. Right? They're
Yeah,
there
we
to
get that
solve.
phone call a lot whenever they didn't use us that they wish they used us. So
Yeah, so the words, the famous last words that we hear every day in the office, I knew I should have used
Yeah.
you. I
Should've
need your
waited.
help. But you know what? Like, it's okay. Like, we want to be there for you. If we weren't your first one, that's okay. Maybe we didn't do something right at the beginning to earn your business, but we're going to be there for you now. And we're going to send these guys that we call repair department, but we're actually sending the specialty guys out. We'll solve your problem for you. We'll fix it for you. But our goal is for us to start with you so you don't have to go down that road, so you don't have to pay twice for something.
right.
So how many times, like, I get this call a lot, or I've heard this call, like someone got a new metal roof and then they're calling because they have issues with the roof. Do you guys hear that a lot?
We get that call sometimes, yes.
Yeah, so metal roofing really is another whole specialty. It takes really special guys. It's not something that grows overnight. And what's unique is we have the tools and the equipment to do that. And we can solve just about anybody's problem. We solve problems for other roofers a lot. I know Heather gets those calls sometimes where someone needs some metal made or they're in trouble. And I mean, there's been actually roofing jobs going on here in Lake County that we had to actually send one of our guys by to look at it, to tell them what part to make. And then we sell them those parts. Have you had those calls before?
Yeah, and then we submit that back to Randy, and Randy makes sure he does the custom orders, and then we take care of the internal stuff for invoicing and such. But they're starting to come in, actually, a couple other roofing companies, just so we can make some specialty materials, if you will.
We're okay with that. We want that just means we're the expert, and that's fine.
We've had a lot of people call for instructions, yes, and wanting somebody to call them back to let them know, like go over step by step on how to do it, just because they know that we're the best and they've watched our videos and they really like our videos a lot. So
Because we're very meticulous on the way
Yeah.
that we want to do our installs. So I
Yep.
think it's pretty awesome that they're calling us for the instructions on how to
Yeah.
do the install.
That's really cool. I know, Eustace Roofing has grown more than just a roofing company. Like it's a new way of doing business, right? We see all these other construction companies having like events now. I know we really pushed it the way through to have like our Christmas parties where we have everybody, not just your marketing team, your sales team, everybody that works at Eustace Roofing should be at the Christmas party, right? Like, but I've seen that more and more. Have you guys seen that? When I watch Facebook, now I'm starting to see other companies do that. And it's really cool to see. And that all started with you guys. You guys, or some of you guys had the ideas. I know Heather had some, and Christina's been there with some of those ideas. But how do we, when we talk about a Christmas party, I'm over there like, yeah, let's do it. It's going to be great. And then that's it. I'll see you all there. But you guys are the ones that make it happen.
Yeah.
You put it all together so that we all have a great time. And I don't know, do you guys realize how many other companies are following our lead?
I think employee engagement is so important, and if other companies are not doing that, that's where they're failing. Employees stay with their companies because they want to feel important, they want to feel valued, and know that they mean something to the company. My past life, I mean, we did that on a quarterly basis, and I know right now we're trying to do cookouts on a quarterly basis with our guys out in the field, and the one we did first quarter, they really loved it, and I think we hung out for a few hours, but they couldn't wait. They're like, hey, when are we going to do this again? Richard, when are you going to cook again? When are you going to grill again? So they're looking forward to the next one, and then just trying to do employee engagement in the office amongst the ladies as well, just to keep us engaged as a company.
It doesn't take a lot. Like just getting together sometimes are really good. And that's what's great about you guys is I want to post that clip on here so you guys probably can watch it right now while I'm talking, where we had an employee event the other day where we cooked out and we all just hung out for a little bit. But you know what was really cool is these girls walked back there and we all hung out together.
Yes, we
It
did.
wasn't like, oh, those are the guys putting the roof on and this is your office team. No, we were all one team. And I think that's really what's cool about Eustace Roofing. We talk about it all the time is one team. We're just one team. We split up in different groups to come out and help you guys. It's like an army, but we're all one team,
Yeah.
and I think it's really cool that you guys were a part of that the other day. I saw you all back there. I did a short clip video on it, but it was just so amazing. And some of that too, the other day, the guys started that on their own. They had their own little cookout the other day and I went back there and ate with them and it was probably some of the best food I've ever had. And they like made their own table and it had ice down the center of it. And you get to see just these craftsmanship that these guys have. But talk about office events. Heather and Christina and Cheryl, you guys, last year you did like a really cool Easter event. We got Easter coming up. But this is why it's so important. When we talk about women in construction, this is the side that they bring. Like this amazing organized like events, getting everybody involved, the customer service. And now again, we're coming up on Easter and we're going to have another event. And it just really makes it feel like more than just coming to work. Like it's fun.
It does. And last year we did an Easter egg hunt for the employees and they really loved that. I think some of the project managers may have been a little bit jealous, but it was a good time and they're looking forward again this year. But I know we've done, before my time, we did kayaking and the Easter egg hunt. And then we do monthly potlucks. Everybody loves food. You can't go wrong with food. Food's
Let
a
me tell
big
you
thing.
about the kayaking. So you guys are out having a good time, but that was a really big day for us out in the field and working at the shop. We actually learned how super important you guys were. We didn't know where to go, what to do. We were a freaking mess without the girls. They're out there paddling, laughing it up, and having a good time, and we were a mess. And it was really good for us to go through that to learn.
Yeah.
Man, we can't do it without you guys. That was the last paddleboarding place we did because it's on a Friday. We have to figure that out because we can't work without you guys.
There's so many details. It's kind of like the Christmas party. You're like, hey, we're going to have a Christmas party. And then a few days earlier, you're like, hey, what about this, this, and this? I'm like, already taken care of like maybe 3 or 4 months ago, man. It's fine. And then we did the jingle build off last year for the holidays with Habitat.
Yeah, everybody here
Yeah.
was involved in the jingle build off, kind of, or even in the parades. Like we like to do that
parades.
stuff. We love to see the kids coming out. But what is your guys' experiences from like the jingle build off or the parades or the community involvement that you see?
I get 100% satisfaction. I think the jingle build off, I'm selfish. I love it. It's for me. But we come together as a company with the idea that this family is going to get something that they're going to enjoy for the rest of their childhood. And we all plan it. We are passionate about it. We take what the kids love and want. And it is hilarious to see us all get together and try and figure out how to build this thing. And every year it gets bigger and better and a little bit more extravagant. But it's a fun thing that we do together. You know, we meet up early in the morning. This is on our time, and we're giving back. And Eustace Roofing is obviously 100%. You know, we're thankful that you guys involve us in on this and give us the opportunity. And then we stay. Like some other places go and leave. We stay. We want
wanna
to
see the
see
families.
the family get this. And all
there's
of us
always
are
some
like
tears.
in tears.
You know, I didn't think of that. That's true. Like when the event's done and you build it, most everybody heads out and they're done. But the Eustace Roofing team stays to see the kids and the family.
Yep, we meet the family and we
Every
want
time.
to see how excited they are. And in return, they're so happy that we are all there. They get to meet the owners, they get to meet everybody that was involved in on this, and they just see how much we care. It's not just a thing to get your name out there or to promote it. It is from the heart, 100%.
And what I think is also really neat about that is on the same day as that, we're doing the Mount Dora parade and the
two
Tavares parade. And when the reveal of the Playhouse is presented to the family, the crews that were on the Mount Dora parade, everybody comes because they want to see the children see their house for the first time. And that is so rewarding.
Well, what's cool about it though is this is when we talk about women in construction. None of that would be possible without women, right? You guys found the event, set it up, got it all set up, and then the guy showed up and built it. But you guys grabbed the tools and you got involved in it.
Absolutely.
It's just I don't think people realize the impact that women have in construction until they're not there that day. Like the paddleboarding day, that was a huge impact that we were like, just like, man, we can't do this without you guys. And uniquely though, we have some women out there that are installing the roofs. And let me tell you something. They're some of the best roofers I've ever seen. They get up there and they can lay the shingles just as fast as the guys, probably have a little bit more detailed, and they keep the guys, that crew, in check.
Right.
When we see a team come in and there's a woman involved on that team, we know that we can really rely on it. They're going to keep them in check. Like it's just a really good thing to add to it. What about you and Cheryl in the events? Like, is it really cool to see something different like that, to be involved in that?
Yeah, I think it helps build relationships. We all seem to get to spend a lot of time together, and all the owners are there all the time. And I think that's really great for, everybody involved.
Well, sometimes a work relationship is totally different after work too, right?
Yes.
Like you get to know
Yes.
somebody really, really good outside of work, and maybe like all those barriers are let down and it's more of just an enjoyment time. And I can't tell you how many times I meet somebody outside of work and it kind of feels a little less stressful.
Yeah, I
and
feel like you have a
easy.
relationship with every employee you have, which I think is a really great thing because that's not everywhere you go. You don't have the owners involved with every employee, and I really think that's good.
Well, I think at the end of the day, this is the value we get out of it, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like seeing people grow, succeed. Honestly, too, like I think our job is to kind of see the talent of an individual. For me, I have a really hard time of seeing anything but that, right? Like I only see the good, and then sometimes I need to like help that person build, but I'm building off of the good. And what we get out of it as a family is seeing people grow. And seeing their lives grow and change. Like for me, I just had this real thing about some of the guys where, you know, maybe they were in trouble or they're having these issues in their life. And over a 5-year period, we were able to really help them down that path. And now they're really successful. Their family's successful. And that's one of the coolest things about the Christmas party. We get to see the payoff of that because the family comes and we get to see the lives of those kids change. And we had some kind of influence.
Right.
And that's what we always say, like, I don't know how long you're going to stay here. There might be other opportunities for you in the end, but our goal is for you to leave here better than you came here. That's really what we're in the business of doing. And in the middle of all that, we're putting on really great roofs.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think what's really cool, we were talking about that earlier, is like we all have that same integrity. You know, we want to stay integrity. Like, so if anybody gets off balance, we all correct each other, right? Like, I think you guys all have a voice in that. Like, I'm like, well, maybe we should do that. I'm like, no, we should go more this direction. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think everybody cares. I mean, everybody just really wants to see us continue to succeed. And if we find something that we might not necessarily agree with or concerned with, no one's afraid to speak up. It's an open door policy where we can place our concerns and say, hey, I think, you know, maybe we thought about it this way or went this other avenue that we could have better results. So we're always striving to do better and be better.
Well, tell us. So we've got something coming up that's new. I think it's with Habitat of Humanity. I believe I said that right. Did I say that right? Okay. So Heather, you've got some information on it. We're doing some fundraising. We're going to have her on later today on the show, but tell us a little bit about what's fixing to happen with us and Habitat with Humanity.
So Habitat Humanity right now, we are doing a fundraiser for the Women's Build. What month are we in? So April and May, we're doing the fundraising. There's going to be a kickoff. And then in the month of May, we're actually doing the build. So Danielle, I believe she's the CEO of Habitat for Humanity for Lake and Sumter County. She'll be here a little bit later today to go over the details of that. So in the meantime, we're going to post the fundraising page on our Facebook page. If you know, we can get help gathering donations for the fundraiser. That money does stay within our community, and it's going to a 55 plus community here in Lake County. So the funds do stay within our community.
Man, I'm excited about that. I can't wait to talk more about it. We're trying to raise some money for that. So if you're interested, you can hit up Heather at the office. She's got a way of doing that. There'll be a link probably on the end of this or attached to this that you can click on to help out. I believe it's focused on women though, right?
It is. It's all focused on women, and we all get to go out there and, you know, pick up the hammers and start, you know, building the front of the house. And if we want to be there for the duration of the entire build, we do have that opportunity. I believe that the first initial build off is the first day where we're just trying to get the framing up and going.
Okay, well, we're really excited. There's a lot of charity events here in Lake County, and the problem is people just don't know about it. Like, they don't know that these exist, and we're going to try to bring that to you guys so that you can see these events that are happening. We have a lot of great partners that are involved. I really believe that's one of the most unique things, and I know that, Christina, you could probably speak to this, and probably Cheryl, because you get this, but we actually have a network of people that we trust, that we work together with. It's really difficult for us to recommend somebody because we don't want them to let somebody down. But I think one of the impacts that we also have is we help other people in construction get their businesses going because they have an expert. They're an expert in what they do, or we found that they're unique and that they can solve people's problems. And we've literally watched other construction, whether it be like some of them are aluminum contractors or different contractors throughout the industry that we've helped build their brand because they were unique. They were good at what they do, and you don't see that every day in construction. Can you tell, like, do you have a lot of people that you recommend, or is there a network that you're always like, man, these guys are getting killer feedback, and so we want to recommend them more? Is that something you experience a lot?
Yeah, we get a lot of customers call in looking for stuff that we happen to not do sometimes. So we definitely like to give them options and give them the best option available. So we have a list that we get from the owners, you and Cheryl, I believe. So we recommend the customers to those referrals, and they can get the best service like they would get from us.
Yeah, I think that's really big to me, is like meeting these people that are just superior at what they do, and how can we get them to more of the customers. The problem is, and Christina, you could probably say this, is all of a sudden they're so busy that we can't use them anymore.
They start out, well, they stand out. We use them once or twice, and our customers give such great feedback from them. They follow the same values that you do at Eustace Roofing. So we start referring them more and more and more. And before you know it, we've now built up their business to where we need to find another person to kind of be the backup because they are just so busy and overloaded from all of our referrals. And they do call and they're grateful and they love it. But I've watched you build a lot of companies from the ground up. So it's been pretty unique in that one.
It's a huge impact. And I know recently we've been recognized all across the country for stuff like that. We recently had another roofing company. We've got another 5, I didn't tell you guys this yet, that are coming that spend a day in the life with us and see how we do our business. And we just had a company here and they went through the entire office to learn the process. Nobody around town.
Yeah.
We don't want to give all of our secrets away, right? But really our secret is customer service and growing the individual that works for us. The entire experience is what we're after. But we just had a company come in and they went through each office, learned how we do things. They took that information and they went back to their state to try to deliver the same results that we have here. And a lot of that's due. Heather sets up great processes and procedures, and we're able to share that with other people so that they can change their city and their town, and they can start growing that. And we've seen them go in and start doing Christmas parties and events. And so I think the impact is much greater than what we probably see right here in Lake County.
Yeah, and I know when they came through, I mean, we went through the entire office, through all the different departments, and they were able to potentially adopt some of the processes that we have in place. And it's twofold because there were things that they have that we could also take on as well. But it was really awesome to watch their reaction as we brought them through the office and how we run the business and how much we care for our employees.
Yeah, it was really cool. So thank you to you guys for making not only an impact in my life, but the people that work at Eustace Roofing, and then the impact on the customers that buy from Eustace Roofing. It's all in a result from you guys kind of like setting it from the beginning to the end. And we're just in there. We get to throw the hammers and the nails around just because of you guys.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.